Our responsibility to protect the environment for the health of us, everyone, as well as future generations, as well as our children's and our children's children. We are now going to leave the floor to young people, youth. Give a good round of applause to them. They are the reasons why we're here. Here is a small video.
Les jeunes représentent l'avenir. C'est ce qu'on dit, n'est-ce pas? Mais cet avenir, nous, les jeunes, nous le construisons déjà, ici et maintenant, dans les villes et les campagnes, dans les écoles, dans les universités, les associations, les laboratoires. Nous agissons chaque jour pour un futur durable.
La santé des écosystèmes, celle du monde animal et celle des sociétés humaines sont indissociables. L'approche One Health, ce n'est pas l'affaire de quelques experts. Elle exige une action collective à laquelle nous, les jeunes, nous participons pleinement.
Notre expertise, forgée au plus près du terrain, est une ressource précieuse. Intégrez-nous aux discussions, aux négociations, aux décisions, au niveau local, national et international. Ouvrez-nous les portes de vos institutions sans discrimination. Reconnaissez la richesse de tous les savoirs, y compris les savoirs communautaires.
Pour agir durablement, nous avons d'abord besoin de moyens pérennes. Nous demandons des bourses, un volontariat indemnisé, des emplois qualifiés et justement rémunérés, un soutien à l'entrepreneuriat, des programmes de recherche et d'innovation citoyenne.
Nous soutenir, ce n'est pas un coût, c'est un investissement dans l'avenir. C'est garantir la relève des professionnels de demain, c'est garantir la continuité des engagements d'aujourd'hui. Nous appelons aussi à des pédagogies actives et concrètes, transdisciplinaires et inclusives.
Apprenons l'interdépendance en tous les êtres vivants dès la petite enfance. C'est une condition essentielle pour préserver l'environnement, prévenir les crises sanitaires et bâtir des sociétés plus justes.
Enfin, nous plaidons pour une information accessible, attractive, fondée sur la science. Une information qui ne se contente pas d'alerter, mais une information qui propose des clés pour l'action.
Avec un vrai soutien, nous serons les ambassadeurs et les ambassadrices les plus efficaces au service de politiques publiques équitables.
En ce 7 avril, nous les jeunes, nous sommes déjà engagés dans l'action. Mais seuls, nous n'irons pas loin. Alors mobilisons la force des réseaux, créons des synergies entre jeunes, scientifiques, décideurs et citoyens à la hauteur des défis que l'approche One Health exige.
Maintenant, à vous aussi de vous engager pour et avec les jeunes.
I think after listening to such a powerful message, each of us should think of how we are going to involve the youth in our reflection. So I think we're doing this for them, we're doing this for us, but we're doing this for the future generations. And going from a concept, from the idea of One Health to action is precisely what we wanted to do today. Car rien n'est plus fort qu'une idée dont l'heure est enfin
Nothing is stronger
venue, et on peut le voir
than a
grâce à votre
concept
mobilisation
that is
à
translated
toutes et à
into
tous.
action. This
Que
is something
cette
that we
idée, ce
see
concept de One Health,
with everyone's
qui semble
action
peut-être
here.
une évidence, mais qui ne l'est pas pour
This
beaucoup
is
de
something
personnes
that
encore,
might
et qui ne
seem
l'était pas il y a
obvious
quelques
for a lot
années,
of people
est
here, but
enfin
it
en
didn't
train
used
de
to be.
s'ancrer et de se
And we can see that
concrétiser.
this concept of One Health is taking root. So I would like to thank you for staying with us, but bearing with us through a dense and long day. However, a lot of important things were said today. So I would like to thank all of those who committed to develop new treatments for tomorrow, to fight zoonoses, to fight the effect of microplastics, of antibiotics, of ultra-processed food. These are tangible actions that some of you, some of us, are in a position to carry out. This is something that we committed to. So in order to translate all this into a reality, we need major stakeholders from health and caretakers around the world. So it is my honor to welcome here Dr. Tedros, Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Director General of the World Health Organization.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to our moderator for leading the program effectively. No? Microphone, now. Your Excellency, President Mahama, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished leaders, colleagues, and friends. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Next year I will do more. First, let me express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency President Macron and the government of France for convening this important summit, and also to the President of Botswana and Prime Minister of Cambodia for honoring this One Health Summit. Their presence means the strong commitment that they have to One Health Summit. My thanks also to the Metropole of Lyon and the city of Lyon for its hospitality and welcome. And my thanks, finally, to all of the presenters and participants. You have demonstrated that One Health is not just one approach. It's the only approach. The health of humans, animals, and the environment are inextricably interwoven. We cannot protect one without protecting all three. There are so many examples: asthma and air pollution, cholera and sanitation, yellow fever, dengue, malaria and mosquitoes, Ebola and fruit bats, or rabies and dogs. We can treat and prevent all of these diseases with vaccines, therapeutics, and other countermeasures. But addressing their root cause demands a One Health approach, not as an abstract concept, but a concrete action. That's why WHO, FAO, and OIE, now OAH, formed the tripartite in 2010, which became the quadripartite in 2022 when UNEP joined us. Together, we're committed to working across sectors and across silos to protect the health of humans, animals, and the planet we all share. We're guided by the One Health Joint Plan of Action and supported by the One Health High-Level Expert Panel, or OHLEP, which provides independent scientific advice to guide collective action. I'm pleased to announce today that we are extending the current term of OHLEP until April 2027, and we're strengthening its role to better translate scientific evidence into concrete policy guidance and effective implementation. WHO is also planning to launch a new global network of One Health institutions to deliver the objectives of the One Health Joint Plan of Action, which we will invite our quadripartite partners to join. This unified network will bring together scientific institutions, research centers, and training platforms across regions and disciplines, drawn from across our agencies and the global scientific community. Its purpose is to strengthen collaboration, bringing greater coherence, coordination, and shared direction. This will be one of WHO's key priorities when we assume the chair of the quadripartite tomorrow. And I thank Dr. Chu Dongyu and FAO for their leadership over the past year. Your Excellency, President Mahama, dear colleagues and friends, as you know, today is World Health Day, marking the date on which the Constitution of the World Health Organization entered into force on the 7th of April, 1948. Or to put it in another way, today is our 78th birthday. This year, we have chosen the theme, Together for Health, Stand with Science. Science has always been at the heart of everything WHO does. Over the past 9 years, WHO has taken several steps to strengthen our focus on science as part of our transformation project. For the first time in the organization's history, we created a new science division and created a new role for chief scientist, who sits on our executive management committee. In 2024, we also had the honor of opening the WHO Academy with President Macron here in Lyon as part of the transformation. The Academy is a new institution to translate science into policy and action by equipping health and care workers, policymakers, and the WHO workforce with the skills and competencies they need to deliver health for all, especially capacity building at country level is its focus. Another way in which WHO is strengthening its focus on science is through our global network of collaborating centers. One of the functions assigned to WHO in the Constitution is to promote and conduct research in the field of health. But rather than establish its own research institutions, from the beginning, WHO's member states decided that we should leverage the expertise of institutions around the world, what we know today as WHO collaborating centers. Over the past 78 years, WHO has built a network of almost 800 collaborating centers from universities, research institutions, hospitals, and laboratories in 80 countries, the largest network of public health institutions in the world. Many of these collaborating centers work on One Health issues, such as the seasonal influenza vaccine composition or the global antimicrobial resistance and youth surveillance system, GLASS. Starting today, WHO is hosting a global forum of WHO collaborating centers here in Lyon, bringing together experts from hundreds of collaborating centers. WHO's network of collaborating centers represent an incredible scientific asset for the world, an asset that we want to leverage to the maximum. Once again, my thanks to His Excellency, President Macron, and to the government and people of France for your hospitality in hosting the meeting. My thanks also to our quadripartite partners for your leadership and partnership. The health of humans, animals, and our environment cannot be separated, and neither can we. Together for science, together for One Health. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, and happy birthday to the WHO. It is indeed a very, yes, you can applaud them. It is a very, very special birthday, one that puts science at the heart of the discussions and the defense of science. All over the world, people are challenging scientific knowledge. They're comparing it to opinions, and we cannot let that happen. We need to keep listening to scientists. We need to give them a voice, and translate their recommendations into public policy. This is exactly what the Republic of Ghana is doing, and we want to thank you, Mr. President, for accepting to co-host this summit and for your active implication in the defense of science and of health. I would like to give you the floor for concluding remarks, thanking you again for your presence here in Paris. Dr. Mahama.
Thank you very much. And let me just say, distinguished participants, I think we've had a very interesting 2 days, and the presentations have been excellent. On behalf of my co-chairman, I want to wrap up and thank you all for staying throughout the session. I want to thank President Macron and the organizers for the wonderful organization that has made this conference such a success. All those who participated in the discussions, the scientists, the nutritionists, the plastic activists, and everybody, we want to thank you for all that you've done. We also want to thank the city of Lyon for being such good host. It's been a beautiful spring season, and I remember a few years ago, because of climate change, even the trees used to get confused. There was a story of, the trees had gotten used to bringing the cherry blossoms at a certain time, and so they thought it was spring, and so the cherry blossoms came, and then there was a winter blast all of a sudden, and the trees were confused whether to shed the cherry blossoms or to continue to say that it was spring. But the presentations have been very interesting, and the presentation by the scientists, by the nutritionists, by the young activists working in plastic pollution. And he touched on a particularly sensitive point. We saw all that they were doing, the movie and all that, and they're doing their best, but that is a minuscule, attempt at what the scale of plastic pollution is. And plastics know no boundaries. That island he showed with all the plastics, they could have come from Africa or from, thousands of miles away. And so we need to bring that partnership together to, on a global scale, decide what we want to do with plastics. Nutrition and physical activity. When I spoke, I talked about non-communicable diseases. In the past, in Africa, our forebears were more used to a lot of physical activity because of the occupations that they had. Today, modernization means that we're working more in offices, we have cars, we no longer walk. If you don't make a conscious decision to do some physical activity, either by walking or exercising, and you don't pay attention to your diet and nutrition, then non-communicable disease is coming. And they become a disease burden on the national health budget. And so that's why we're introducing a primary healthcare system to educate people on lifestyle changes, wellness, and all that. But there's one interesting thing. Human beings are responsible for disturbing the ecosystem. The animals are not to blame. The forests are not to blame. The waters are not to blame. It is us who are causing the imbalance in the world ecosystem. The world ecosystem was finely balanced between man and animal and plants and everything. It is the domination of the world by human beings and our population growth and our urbanization and our development paradigm that has caused the imbalance in the ecosystem. And the question we ask is, the current development paradigm where we're a mass consumption race, can the world sustain that level of development? Does the world have enough resources to maintain our lifestyles as a human race? And so for us, developing countries. We're wondering, is the Western mass consumption society our idea of development? That is a question we need to answer. Glitzy supermarkets with all kinds of mass-produced items, is that where all of us, 9 billion people, want to go? And so we cause the problem, we must find the solution. And that's why there's science and there's innovation. Our scientists must set to work, not in inventing things that will make us put more pressure on the ecosystem, but to innovate so that we're able to restore the balance between us and the animals and plants. And that is the responsibility all of us bear. We've spoken enough. This is our 9th summit. It is time to move from talk to action. I remember when I was a young kid growing in the village, we were asked not to go to the forest on Tuesdays because the spirits of the forest were walking around. And if they caught you, they would deal with you. And so we were afraid to go to the forest. Those who lived by the coast were not allowed to go to sea to fish on Tuesdays. I only grew up to learn that it was traditional knowledge. The sea needed one day to rest. The forest needed a day to rest. And so in every month, there were 4 days that nobody went into the forest to disturb the ecosystem. Today, that traditional knowledge is dying. People now know there are no spirits in that forest that are going to harm you. And so they go to the forest every day and go and chop down the trees. And so in Africa, we also want to see how we can revive some of the traditional knowledge, the herbs, the healing, so that we don't always rely on chemical palliatives or chemical products as cures. There are a lot of traditional medicines. For instance, the neem tree was good for malaria. When we were growing up, there were no chloroquines and everything. And so if you had malaria, they boiled water and covered you with a blanket, and the steam went into your body, and then they gave you some of the bitter neem tree to drink, and people got cured. Today, we've abused all the malaria drugs. We have to keep improving them and improving them. All the antibiotics and things we keep swallowing. And so the task is hydra-headed. And sometimes when I sit and listen to these panels, I don't know even where we should start to tackle the problem. But like I said, we have a responsibility as a human race to solve the problem that we created. And it depends on all of you, the scientists, all of you, the nutritionists. And that's why we gather here and we discuss these issues. And I think discussing and networking is good. I'm leaving here with more knowledge than I came with. And I think that, yes, we've spoken. A lot depends on us too, as political leaders, to do our part, because some of these things will not work if the political will to implement them is not there. And so on behalf of world leaders, I don't know if they all agree with me, I pledge that we'll do our part. Because we must leave the world a better place than we met it. For our young people, we saw the video. They said, yes, it's our future, but we're planning that future today. A future without plastic pollution. A future without poisoning. A future without conflict, because it even goes down to conflict. All of us are watching what is happening in the Middle East, and I express solidarity with our brothers in the Middle East and hope that that conflict will come to an end as quickly as possible. Because there are many things that we face as a world, and we need peace to be able to resolve those issues. And so we solidarize with our brothers in the Middle East and hope that the conflict comes to an end as soon as possible. And so let's innovate, and let's act together, and let's move from talk to action. Let's move from networking to implementation. And so on behalf of President Macron, my co-chair, I want to thank all of you very much for coming, and those of you who acted as resource persons, we thank all of you. And I wish all of you a very safe journey back home. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Excellency, Mr. President, for such a powerful message. Before we all go back home, I hope with a lot of new knowledge and ideas to implement in our own home countries, we will now create a link or build a bridge with something that is happening not far from here at the Matmut Stadium in Lyon. There are about 1,200 experts from the collaborating centers of WHO that are gathered in person or online. They've been watching us all day. They've been listening to us. There's a powerful message from Dr. Tedros and President Macron that we are going to show them in just a minute. But I want to thank you all really deeply. On behalf of the government of France, I want to thank all the organizers, all of you that have contributed with very powerful messages, excellencies. I am because you are. We are all interconnected. All of us, wherever we come from, there are no borders to health, that we know, but there are also no borders to human health, animal health, and the environment. If we can take those two very meaningful and powerful ideas home, this would all have been very powerful and interesting and important. And I agree with you, maybe we can speak on behalf of world leaders, maybe not all of world leaders, but there's a lot of world leaders gathered here in this room, and I want to give a very big applause to all of them and to all of you for this very interesting journey.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Je suis avec le docteur Tedros. Nous sommes à Lyon.
Ladies and gentlemen,
le premier One Health Summit.
we are in Lyon. We're concluding the One Health Summit, which has had everybody contributing to the success. And I'd like to thank Dr. Tedros and the team from the World Health Summit.
In Lyon, our academy. And we do cherish this daughter with a lot of people and teams. And I want to say hello to the whole team of the academy, but more broadly, I want to congratulate all the WHO teams. And I want to thank you because you use this momentum of our One Health Summit to gather for the very first time all your collaborating centers.
Exactly.
More than 800 of them, 2/3 physically in Lyon and 1/3 virtually. And it was the occasion for me to pass the message of mobilization. We do count on WHO, we do count on you. And the whole purpose of this day, even the discussion we had this morning with head of states and governments and international organizations behind closed doors, is to consolidate WHO as the cornerstone of our global organization. We do need science, we do need trust, we do need cooperation, and we do need action. And this is the narrative and the purpose of this day. And this is why this One Health Summit will allow to launch a series of initiatives. We announced a dozen of initiatives involving international organizations, governments, companies, NGOs, and so on. But it will mobilize as well the knowledge and the professionalism and the excellence of your teams. And I want to wish you good work. And I want to commend you for this initiative with all these centers being mobilized. So thank you, Dr. Tedros.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President. Actually, it makes your, today, your being with us makes it even special because it's our birthday. It's 78th anniversary of the establishment of the World Health Organization. And hosting this meeting, One Health, with this great attendance of heads of states, ministers, is the best gift for our World Health Day. So thank you so much. And then the other is, as His Excellency said, the WHO Academy is established here. opened its doors in December 2024. And now we believe that this daughter of ours, the WHO Academy in Lyon, will be a game changer, especially in building country capacity. Because what we have been saying is the most important, especially today, is country ownership and country capacity. And result can only be delivered at the country level. So the WHO Academy will support countries who need support from WHO. And I want to thank Your Excellency and France for the support in making this happen. Of course, the last but not least is another historic moment in Lyon. This is the first ever global meeting of our collaborating centers. 800, these are centers of excellence throughout the world. And this is the first time during our 78th birthday that we are having this global meeting. Although this is the first, it will not be the last. We will continue to have meetings with our collaborating centers on regular basis. And this is part of the reform we have started to work more through our collaborating centers, because we have excellent institutions, not only the 800, but more that we will recruit in the future. So to all collaborating centers who are in Lyon, welcome from me and also from His Excellency, the President. You have our full support and appreciate the support you're giving to humanity.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Dr. Tedros. Thank you. Et bon courage à toutes les équipes. Bon travail.
Good luck to all the teams. Excellent work. Thank you.
Allô, allô. Mesdames et messieurs, la session de haut niveau est désormais finie. Merci beaucoup pour votre engagement.
This high-level session is now over. Thank you very much for your participation. Follow us on social network, One Health Summit. You are, therefore I am. Have a happy World Health Day.
Thanks a lot for your engagement. Please find us on the social networks One Planet Summit. All the sessions have been live recorded. I am because you are. Happy World Health Day, everyone.